Liveness has been achieved. We've achieved a live lock.
Wow. Okay.
A lifeline, if you will.
It's always a scary thing going live. I don't know. Not really.
Sure.
At this point, I don't give a shit. I've said enough dumb stuff recorded in podcasts that live doesn't scare me.
I wonder if you just edited the dumb stuff together in all our podcasts, what the play length of it is like a day? Do we have a day's worth of dumb shit that we've said?
Probably. Yeah. That's a good segue into one of our topics.
Yeah. So I want to lay out kind of like roughly the things I'm going to talk about to get people, priming the Q&A, because we got the Q&A app turned on as well. One thing, we're talking about the new content, the silent movie we've been noodling with in the last week or two. Got one of those out the door. See what you guys thought of it. Any off-the-cuff feedback? I think we're going to open up dueling posts in the VIP section where like it'll be, silent movie suggestions for Aaron only, silent movie suggestions for Jim only. So you guys can suggest movies, and we can talk about it and discuss whether they'd be good fits or not without the others seeing.
I mean, that feels strange to me because first off, you have to know if the person has seen it. There's no point in discussing it if the person has already seen the movie, or knows too much about the movie.
Yeah.
So like, how do you? Is there going to be like a back and forth where someone posted my thread, "Hey
Probably.
Jim, have you seen this?"
Yeah,
and they go over to your thread and they're like, "Ha ha ha, he hasn't seen it."
Yeah. I also just hope people don't fuck with the system. Like,
what do you mean?
Don't post something that, like, what if someone suggested something in your thread that you haven't seen and they give a synopsis and why they think it'd be awesome, and now that's totally.
Yeah. I mean, there's that.
Yeah, man, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. I guess what we could do is like come up with a list of like 5 or 10 of our own and throw them up there and then say which of these, let's discuss the pros and cons of those.
I was thinking like, if you could somehow get a list of movies without any description of them, just titles.
Yeah.
And say, yes, I've seen this. No, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, I was thinking, because I looked through a list of Oscar winners and nominees. That's good for that. And like AFI Top 100. Maybe we did like Oscar movies since the 70s and then AFI Top 100 and come up with a list from that. But mostly it's just been like just browsing stuff and asking you. Before we get too far down on that line, I want to also mention that we're coming up on our 10 millionth download. Closing in fast. Might happen this month, certainly by next month.
Yeah, last month I think we pulled in more than 1 million.
It's crazy.
With Game of Thrones. That's insane, man.
What should we do to celebrate that? Q&A is always a popular. I know it's maybe not as popular amongst the a lunchinati because you guys get to date basically Q&A every fucking week.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think of what would be a really cool way to observe a 10 millionth download, because that's amazing. Also, what else?
I got said something about Bill Simmons.
I got Bill Simmons news. Guess who
in his fight with Disney?
Essentially, it's essentially a battle with Disney.
Yeah.
The final boss, Michael Eisner.
Final boss, Walt Disney's frozen head. Like
no,
Metroid. Final
boss is the copyright on Mickey Mouse.
Okay, yep. He's got to go into the Supreme Court and argue why it's bullshit.
Yes. He has to turn Mickey Mouse into the public domain. That's how you win.
Awesome.
So, guess who threw their hat into the ring in the Bill Simmons hiring contention?
Oh, Jon Stewart. I heard about
talked
this.
about that last week. That's where you heard it from.
Someone else has said, "Hey, we want to hire
3 letters, HBO."
Okay, that seems like a natural fit with their sports coverage.
Yeah, and
their boxing,
especially since like if he essentially took the heart, mind, and soul of the 30 for 30 project, which I guess he is just a machine. He just is continually coming up with ideas for those. He's done, I think, 60 of them so far. Christ. They could, HBO sports docs already have a good reputation. Adding him on there would be, and there's a lot of things that he's bemoaned that ESPN just will not let them do because the NBA might get mad at him, or people might but where HBO I don't think would give a shit. In fact, the more controversial or entertaining, the better.
I wonder what their relationship with professional sports is like.
I mean, they do have some highbrow sports stuff.
Oh, I know. I mean, like with the actual organizations, though.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Are they, sucking at the teat, trying to get all the info they can, like ESPN does? Or
I don't know.
Doesn't seem like
think
it.
they would,
no.
because they don't. Yeah, I honestly don't know.
Okay.
But I think it'd be cool. The only thing I'm worried about is Bill Simmons is first and foremost a columnist, and then a podcaster, and a video guy very, very much last. And I wonder, like a Bill Simmons talk show weekly, like a Bill Maher, I'd be into that, especially if they had a podcast feed. But I'm used to getting like 2 or 3 podcasts out of the dude and a column a week. Yeah. I can see like me, him doing a half-hour sports show on HBO is not as cool to me, because honestly, I don't give a shit about most of the sports. I like basketball playoffs, and I like football in general. Everything else can go fuck itself. I listen to him to the extent that I like hearing him and his friends bullshit, but I'm worried that HBO would be a great move for him personally, not a great move for me, Aaron, the Bill Simmons fan.
What if they hired him in to essentially build a Grantland competitor? Like, I think that's super interesting, just from a wow, this is fucked up perspective. Like, he's building a network of blogs and podcasts and videos to compete with the one he built before.
See, I think it's entirely possible in a 3-year time span for him to essentially steal all of Grantland. I don't know what kind of non-compete they all sign. I don't know what kind of contracts are, but I know he essentially personally hired every single one of them, and they're all extremely devoted to him. So I don't know how that all works out contractually.
Okay. I don't know. Sounds interesting. I wonder if this is going to get like Netflix in the game too. Be like, oh man, we should hire Bill Simmons on. They don't have the same kind of like,
I've heard
talk show format stuff that HBO does.
I've heard, which I found shocking, is every single sports outlet like Fox, CBS, etc., has essentially expressed zero interest in bringing him on. That is really shocking to me.
Yeah.
It's also interesting is that Jason Whitlock, local Indianapolis native, he got tapped to helm what was internally called the Black Grantland.
Okay.
And he it ended up being called Undefeated. But I guess he's the opposite of Bill Simmons, because he's apparently a terrible manager, and he just got fired last week from his own project.
Oh no.
And now he is going to be a probably extremely disgruntled columnist at ESPN, but not being able to touch his own baby project.
So he was at ESPN as well?
He was hired. He was a Fox guy, and then he got hired from ESPN. I don't know. He's an interesting guy, and he's very polarizing. But from what I've seen from like behind the scenes stuff that leaked out, the fact that there was this many negative leaks from inside his own organization implies that the guy is kind of an asshole to work for.
Great.
And maybe an egomaniac. But Bill by all accounts, does not suffer from that problem at all. But yeah, what do you think? Could HBO pull off like Nintendo Power, or I guess Game Informer, where they're internal publications for the first party? Like they're not
HBO magazine.
Like is there room for HBO magazine where they've got
interviews with Matthew McConaughey?
Yeah,
Rachel McAdams, and
like long form Playboy style interviews that they can get because the actors and directors and all that stuff have to give them. Like
behind the scenes on Game of Thrones.
Yeah, and maybe it's not even a paper mag. Maybe it's more of a digital
paper.io or something.
Yeah. I wonder if that would be like him helming something like that would be interesting.
I mean, it kind of feels like that's almost what Grantland is, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're right. It's a very different format from a magazine, but it has all the same stuff that a magazine would have had in it 20 years ago.
Yeah.
That just doesn't make sense anymore for a magazine.
Sure. No, it is very much, it feels like a magazine.
Yeah.
But
so I think he would just build another content network kind of deal.
Yeah.
That's sort of, not necessarily separate from HBO, but an offshoot of it.
Yeah. But no, every option that I've heard come down the line seems like better and better. Like him and Jon Stewart forging a new type of political
sports,
comedy, sports, pop culture site. Yeah, I'm in for him.
Talk about
helming some
FIFA
project
director.
Yeah.
Quitting. And
yeah. As long as I get podcasts, because man, like half of my podcast listens were probably him before the fall. So
Dan Carlin's gonna have to step up his game.
he does.
He's gonna have to produce like 4 more podcasts a month.
Every other month ain't cutting it for me, Dan.
I know. I know.
All right. Let's see. Okay, here's some relevant questions. Danny H wants to know, he's really looking forward to the new silent movie feature. I just wondering if it would be more enjoyable if I watched the film normally first or if I'm lost in it like Aaron. I don't know. I don't have a good answer to that. I know that there's a couple people said that they started watching the film.
Yeah, I think Shum on our forum said this.
Yeah, TD Shum said that, and he paused it and then went and watched the movie and then came back and he said it was fun both ways. It's fun like what the fuck.
Yeah,
and it was also fun watching me like grasp at straws. And I think as we do more of these, I don't know how many we're gonna do. Like I don't. There's no set release schedule. Some of these take longer than others. I will say that I know what the next one's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be Jupiter Ascending for Jim Jones here, who hasn't seen it.
That sounds fucked.
I'm about halfway.
The Wachowskis, so I know that their stuff is pretty esoteric at parts.
I'm working on that now. But I think that I pick which one you prefer, and then try one that you've already seen and just see which one you prefer. Because honestly, I don't have a feel of which is more enjoyable.
I can tell you as an editor, going back and watching my original cut, it is impossible for me to wipe that from my head and try and say, okay, what would I think if I hadn't seen the movie?
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Yeah, you can't.
No.
You can't flash yourself.
And I don't know if that's just me or if that's just the nature of it. But so if you want that experience, like, yeah, have both experiences. Go into one without having seen it. Go into one knowing full well what the movie's about, and then see which one you enjoy more, I guess.
I will say this. When we get to the 4th quiz break, I was thinking in the back of my mind, I'm going to go home and watch this movie immediately. It's 90 minutes. I'm going to knock it out. When the movie was over, I have zero desire to watch that movie now.
Yeah. That's a pretty straightforward one. So it's like, and the discussion we have at the end where it's like,
I wonder if I'd have felt different
happened.
But just the final reveal, I think just kind of like, okay, yeah, I don't know exactly how we got there, but I know the destination. So
yeah,
it's like the ultimate spoiler. I don't know if it'll be like this for all the movies, but it just like destroys my desire to see the movie proper.
Yeah, I think it depends probably on how well the ending is portrayed without dialogue. Because it's pretty obvious what happens at the end of the Mule.
Yeah.
Jupiter Ascending might be totally different. Like I
don't even know how that's going to work out.
I'm quaking in fear over here about Jupiter Ascending.
The one thing I'm worried about is the extremely long action, that essentially uncut sections of long action, that's going to come across as tedious to watch without any kind of context.
It'll be like Transformers 2 without any of the dialogue.
Yeah,
bad dialogue.
That's what I'm saying. You take a 2-hour Transformer movie, make it a silent movie. It's 90 minutes long, and still
and
too
it's
much
all action.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But there's that. You got a follow up here, Danny H, or even watch like A-Run, then watch the film normally, rewatch Feature for Laughs. I don't know.
What did you say?
He goes,
I can't hardly see it.
Or even watch it like A-Run, then watch the film normally and rewatch your Feature for Laughs. So you essentially watch. I don't know how you do. You'd mute us.
Okay, this is an extension of his.
Yeah. So I think he's essentially saying muting us and just watching the movie without our commentary, watching your edit.
I could make the cut available for people who want to do that.
I think we're already skirting a pretty dangerous legal area here.
That's true. I'd have to put it on YouTube. It's too big for us to host.
Yeah. But you could do that. I just think that you probably won't. If you're anything like me, it'll be like, okay, whatever. But the only way to have both experiences is to watch it on the game show and then go watch it in full length, because you're right. Going to the other, there's no way to do the opposite way unless you have a Men in Black style flashy pin.
Yeah, the other thing we're trying to do is figure out a way to get the audience more involved, which is fucking hard.
What would be awesome is if we could do this like, jaywalking style, where we just go grab someone from the mall.
Okay.
Have you seen this movie? Are you willing to give us an hour of your time? Come with us in this darkened room.
And have your mind blown.
Is that a whiff of chloroform? Maybe. I don't know. And yeah, like I wonder if you could do that. Like if that would be, would that be bigger than Bald Move if we actually rented a kiosk at the mall and did this? Like, couple
oh, you
day.
mean would this be like a segment on Jimmy Fallon's show or something?
No, I mean, so, like it'd be like a legitimate YouTube series, silent movies.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure.
You'd
I'm not sure we
shut
could even
down
get away
like
with it.
that. Boom.
Yeah, I don't know about the legality of this, but you know, it's definitely transformative, right? Like the idea that you would watch this movie and be totally satisfied that you'd seen the thing, I think is a little silly.
Although I just said that.
Well, with the discussion that we had, I guess, yeah.
So
maybe we need to
maybe we should stop. Yeah, I was wondering, maybe the wrap up thing we should just not do. Like, you should just score it and that's it. And I might have been more motivated to watch it if I hadn't had my most burning questions answered immediately afterwards.
Maybe we break it off into like a separate podcast that's just like a discussion of it or something.
Possible.
So it's not directly linked. I don't know.
Let's see what else. Oh,
like I said, we're still messing around with this format. You know, we don't have it completely hammered out.
Louis B said Jupiter Ascending has made little sins even with dialogue. Good luck, Jim.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm almost worried it'll be too easy. Like, you might gotta get the minutia, but you're like, it's just such a visual. I mean, that's the other thing, editing this. I'm like, no wonder action movies do so well internationally. Because like they like are almost cultural context and dialogue free. Yeah. Like, this is the good guy. I know it because he looks like this. This is the bad guy. I know it because he looks like this. And the bad guy's chasing the good guy. Now the good guy's chasing the bad guy. Yeah. Bad guy kills the good guy. It's like it's visual smorgasbord, really. Yeah.
And there's some other things that, you know, we're playing around with. I think if you go into these things not knowing how long the final cut is, it's a little unfair, because the Lifeline stuff, like with Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, you know, you've got X amount of questions and you can tell how far along you are at any given point. So I feel like there needs to be like up front, we need to say certain stats about the film. Like, here's the title, here's the run time of the cut, and then have like a time code displayed on the screen so you know how far along you are at any given moment.
What if we could do something with like the video player we've got where you could actually embed?
Yeah, they have plugins for it.
So you can embed like chapters, and then so you could see and then make sure it permanently enables the bar in the bottom. So then you'd actually see how the runtime, and then like, you know, the little niches in the time bar to know when the quiz breaks are coming up and all that. It'd have to be, maybe. The thing is, it's got to be easy. Like everything that we do, we have to be able to conceivably do in one single day. Roughly 2 man days worth of work, me and Jim both put together, or it's just not going to get done. If it's so elaborate that it takes us multiple days over 2 weeks, it's less likely for us to keep doing it.
Yeah, no, this felt very easy. I mean, we sat down, you know, in the morning and spent a couple of hours like writing questions and, you know, setting up the cameras and all that stuff for the first time, which we won't have to do again.
It feels like, because like I was editing Jupiter Ascending while you were doing that stuff.
Yeah.
And so it feels like now that we're kind of an overlap, we can essentially just trade off jobs, and it might take a little bit longer, but it's literally stuff we can do one-to-one with, and can keep the vacuum containment or whatever.
Sure. Yeah.
The iron curtain between our computers.
And it's I did another edit of a movie that I kind of want to see what you think.
How long was the running time at the end of this?
So the movie's called Primer. And people who know this movie are going, oh my God, there's no way you could possibly do that movie without the dialogue. The runtime of the movie itself is 77 minutes. The runtime of the cut I made is 12 minutes.
I wish we'd done some of the original debates in front of a camera, because I think we have used movies we've both seen to kind of experimentally, like, what would the Matrix be like? What would Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas?
Yeah.
Conversely, what would like Casablanca look like? Something that's a more straightforward narrative, but dialogue.
Or 2001 Space Odyssey, like.
Or you take like a Kevin Smith movie that's like almost entirely dialogue, just people, static shots of people talking. Like, what would you be able to get anything? Or was the one we came up with the other day? What would a Aaron Sorkin?
Yeah, what would the newsroom look like without dialogue?
Take an episode of Newsroom.
That's essentially what Primer is, and it's. I mean, 85% of the movie is cut, and the stuff that's left is like reaction shots.
And kind of stuff. I really one of the first things I thought of is doing Birdman. But then I realized none of our rules are cut the cut. There's not a single cut. There's only like 6 cuts in the whole fucking movie, and they all have dialogue in them. So it would be credits.
Yeah.
What was it about, Jim? What did you think of Birdman?
It's about Michael Keaton doing something crazy in superhero land, I guess.
All right, here's a better question for you.
Dressed like a fucking bird.
Because I only have a couple things to say about this. Thad P says, did either of you see anything coming out of E3 to pique your interest?
Sure. The stuff they showed of Fallout 4 was pretty fucking amazing.
I did see some of that.
I've never played the Fallout games, but
me either, which is weird because Wasteland was one of my all-time favorite like Commodore 64 era games.
Huh. Okay. That's like a precursor to Fallout.
Yeah, it's a role play. It's more of a, I don't know what you would call that. Like there was a certain CRPG that was as distinct from like the JRPGs of the Nintendo era, but they kind of live side by side.
Okay.
You know, but yeah, you had your like four-person party that had roughly AD&D style rule sets set in a radioactive desert, you know, Southwest the United States. I remember Fallout to Boston is an interesting choice.
I think it's cool.
What other cities? Because it's been, you know, you had Fallout, you had like Las Vegas.
Yeah.
I don't know what
New Vegas.
I don't know what number 3 is. Was that?
I don't know where that's set.
But yeah. So that was a standout for you. The big thing I was jizzing my pants over is the year 2 Destiny expansion, The Fallen King. I thought like, I'm a total whore for Destiny, so I don't need a lot. I even think Dark Below is a good expansion, and that's like universally reviled. But you know, it looks really awesome. Getting 3 new classes is really cool, and you know, it's been my experience with Destiny. Just when I feel like okay, I'm about ready to put this thing on the shelf and mothball for a while, an expansion comes out.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'll see. I'm pretty excited about that. The thing that I'm not excited about is because I'm still a big Nintendo fan. Like, I would say that the Wii U has probably gotten a 50-50 gameplay split between the PS4. Now, Destiny might have killed that because my son plays it with me a lot.
Yeah.
But like, I played the shit out of the new Super Mario Brothers or the Wii U Super Mario Brothers and Super Mario World and what's the brawler? Smash Brothers. Mario Kart Racing. I'm still playing that because they keep on adding DLC for it, and my girlfriend and I would get through and try to smash a circuit, and we don't stop until we 3 gold star, so we essentially perfect a circuit, which is really fucking hard to do on the high levels.
The 200cc stuff.
No,
haven't even tried that.
We've done like the 2 starter races, and it's just I honestly don't see how. I would love to see like a YouTube video. I'm sure they're out there if someone like triple gold starring one of the ladder cups because it's just so fast.
It seems it's a different play style. It's got to be like
you
got to use your brakes.
You have to use your brakes, which is unheard of.
You got to start turning way earlier. Yeah,
and I started like running in intentionally slow, crazy high handling cars that you never really see in serious play otherwise.
Yeah,
but it just wasn't fun. It just felt like I was smashing in the walls all the time.
Sure, I haven't seen a lot of what's going on at E3 yet. I'm more of the like wait till it's over and consume it. Because I watch Giant Bomb for their coverage. They just have so much of it. I can't keep up with it.
I was disappointed that we're not getting, you know, it looks like the Wii, they're wrapping up the Wii U, honestly, which if that's the case, I might be like, fuck you, Nintendo. Because I don't feel like I got a good lifespan out of the Wii U. And
it's definitely shorter than other console lifespans, I think.
Feels
like it anyway.
And I don't know, like I said, and the fact that they're pushing Zelda back.
Yeah.
In fact, there's some rumors that they were pushing it to the NX, so I think that's their next system. I don't know. I'm going to be disappointed if they're not releasing premium first party content for at least another year, if not 2, for the Wii U. Because I'm not going to buy another. I'm not going to buy another Wii U console. I only use it for games. I don't use for net. My PlayStation 4 is what I use everything else for. So fuck it. I'm just not going to join that ride.
All right.
What else? Because like I've got 2 podcasts under my belt so far today, and I got to do a third on True Detective and maybe even something else by the end of the day. So, not getting any ideas for 10 million downloads.
No one cares.
No one, except for us. I was going to get a
Fuck
pinata.
You guys. We don't care that you got Tim.
I was going to get a pinata and, get like a Fiesta cast on it. But, I'm just terrible thinking of ideas to do. And like, I'm not going to let you like punch me in the balls if that's not someone's idea. Remember when we seriously debated having a milestone for the Walking Dead podcast on Kickstarter that you just slap me as hard as you can, and we're going to rent a slow motion camera rig for it.
Yep.
Probably would have ended badly.
I don't know why you were ever even considering doing that, but
because it's fun to watch people get hurt, man. It's crazy fun. We
don't want to be jackass. We're bald move. I mean, we are jackasses.
Yeah,
no,
I was gonna
not
say.
those kind of jackasses.
And I don't know, like if I got mad and been out of shape, that'd even be funnier. So that's my theory on the thing.
Like, you should have let me do it at the edge of the pool so I could slap you right into the pool.
Pool slapped. And then if I do a backbuster on top of that, my God, you just white out your pain receptors. My boy did his first ever backbuster screwing out the pool yesterday. It was entertaining. Ouch. It was entertaining. All right. Well, unless you guys got something else up your sleeve, this is kind of a bit of a short one. We keep on waiting. The other thing is we've always got our studio tour up our sleeve. Like the day when we're truly desperate, we have nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. I think this is just going to be where we're going to keep it short and sweet.
Okay. Sure. We got a lot of stuff coming out today.
Yeah.
We got our True Detective thing. We got Game of Thrones. I don't know what you're doing with that Orange is the New Black thing. Is that coming out today?
It's going to be triple podcast day, baby.
I might. What can we save for tomorrow? None of it.
Tomorrow? It's Saturday. What are you talking about?
You seem like you can't release content on Saturday.
No, it's a Blacklight only podcast.
Blacklight only. What would that even?
So we can see all the semen stains in the studio. What are we trying to get at here, man? The teeth glow. Crazy
they're all
white.
on the ceiling anyway. It doesn't matter.
The PSI Jim can put out.
Be surprised.
Is intense. No, I think putting shit on Saturday is a lead balloon. Like it's already dodgy putting it out after 3 p.m. on Friday.
All right.
So, but yeah, the True Detective season 2 previews coming out. True Detective drops this weekend. Ballers drops this weekend.
Yeah, we're probably not gonna have a podcast on Ballers.
Nah, but we are gonna.
Maybe we'll.
I want to do a Bald Move TV on it. I also want to do a Bald Move TV with you on Silicon Valley.
Yeah, I finished that up last week. This week, I don't know, even know.
It had to be this week because it premiered Sunday.
Yeah, this week, like Monday or something. I finished that up.
All right, well, save all that shite for the cast.
Okay.
And then you guys have a great weekend. There'll be some more content coming out today, and we will see you guys next time. Bye bye.